What's going on? Back in the 602, but I'm still in 801. So it's been a while. It's been a long week. Taglines, we're gonna miss you for a long time, brother. It's good to see everybody. So I'm trying to reach out. I got a couple things to accomplish, right? I got to get another vlog out there. I got to get some updates. Got to find out the winner, Jason Lewis. I'm trying to reach you. If you get this, you need to respond. Otherwise, we're gonna move on to the next winner. Pick somebody else. But yeah, Jason Lewis, you were the winner of February. So yeah, let's do this. It's been a long day. Oh, what a day, what a day. Good to be home. Today, this episode, gonna talk about licensing. Still think that's the best topic. Haven't had any comments from anybody else in the chat. So, no comments, I pick. So the office is a little bit of a wreck. Just uploading some really sweet drone footage. Had some fun running around the farm. It's crazy, the Mavic Air gets up to 44 miles per hour without like any problem at all. So fast. It's scary when it's coming at you. It's like a little bug that's gonna come kill you. But man, when you stop, it stands up, shuts down pretty quick. It's pretty dope. So licensing, it's funny, right? To look back on things and how far you've come in a lot of ways. So one of my original ideas was for filling up dirt bikes. When you're filling up, you hate overfilling because you're all trying to look in the gas tank and see your level come up and sneak in, top it off without going too far. That generally I always went too far and gas all over the seat. Remember the rule where I say find something off the shelf to help you prove your concept? So the concept was the fuel has to fill fast. So as it fills, shut off somehow. So that when you got 5 gallons of gas up here and you're trying to fill it holding the hose, you don't have to back off and have gas flip everywhere. And so it was a concept of a float that I could picture. It would float and flip a switch and kill the valve. And I had found, this is off my old 84 Toyota. Actually, it was an 88 Toyota. And, you know, I would blow through it to see how tight it would shut off. Because it was made for airflow, not for fuel. You know, at the time I never did think if it had any seals or anything in there that the fuel would break down, because again I was just trying to prove a concept, at the same time not ruin my dirt bike by dumping some stuff into it. Yeah, so this is pre-3D printer, but it kind of led partially to the purchase of the 3D printer in between the Dune Whip, Alan Lund, appreciate you trying to hook me up back in the day. I used to send him files, and then he was a busy boy. He had a really high-end 3D printer, worked awesome. But you know, it took time and the waiting and the, you know, just getting hooked up sometimes doesn't quite get you there quick enough. So I bought my own, bought one of the original MakerBots, sold that later to get this MakerBot 2, and that's pretty dope. But back to the concept is the shut off. So I pictured that, something coming up, and this was like a little valve that would just swing, and I'm like, well, if I spring load that, so it always springs back to closed, and then what if, you know, this was super awesome, because that's actually fishing equipment, but I pictured it float, so I needed something to float, and what I would do is I'd cock this thing like this. Now it was open, and the fuel would flow, till it'd fill up. And then hoping that the float and the magnet would trip the valve. So this actually worked, but man, that is just crazy. You know, some old metal, some snippets, some JB Weld, got a neocadmium magnet. I could say fishing lures. But the concept was proven out to, you know, to lead me down the direction. This wasn't very awesome, to be honest. When I started thinking about it, it was over-engineered. There was too many moving pieces. It was going to be
it's gonna cost too much. If you're gonna put this thing on a spout and expect it to work and do all that stuff, it's just unrealistic. So through a lot of time, and to be honest, one of the things you have to do is be patient, but be willing to work with people, because I went through 4 different companies trying to get this produced. So this is the final product. It took me a long time to get here, and even while I was still moving it in that direction, I was still working on licensing with different companies. I'd fly in, I would sit down and talk with them. Other people I just sent stuff to. We found limitations in every step of the way. There was one company that was just too worried because they were in California, and because of the laws and the carb approval stuff, and they were too worried about carb laws coming in and killing you. California, you guys kind of suck. But I mean that in a nice way, because I love going to California. I'm just glad I don't live there. So, moved on from that company, went to another one. They didn't have the skills. They were wanting to have it refined almost to the point that it could go into a mold. I didn't have the skill set to feel like I could have it in that level of readiness. So that didn't work out very much. I mean, I'd proved the concept. I'd done it in different ways and with the shutoff. But it didn't work out. So they didn't have the skill set to finish it out. Another one I went to didn't have plastic manufacturing skills so much. They did most of their stuff in aluminum and other things like that. That was over a process of probably 2 to 3 years. I mean, it did not happen overnight. It's probably closer to 2. But still, to find out, they might be interested. Can't work it out. Next one. We had limitations. Next one. Finally, turned it over to Risk Racing. He got it right away, and I had to kept refining it over time, because I kept making it better and better, because my skills got better, until I pretty much had it designed just like this, to where it was a squeeze cap, so you could remove it. Technically, this tether's underneath, but when you're ready to fill, you pull out the float, and you fill and you fill and you fill till it snaps shut, stops the flow. Super simple. It's got a magnet in there, and all you have to do is break the attraction until fuel brings it back into attraction. Super simple. I can buy it for cost and sell it on my website, so that's dope too. It really minimizes risk on my part, so licensing, you're pretty awesome. The license I have for them actually works per piece. They pay me per piece. There's some licenses like this one. So yeah, this one. It's simple, but it's a step up from every other hose out there. The fact that it can tether like this. And now you don't have to hold the hose in that position. You don't drop your cap in the dirt. Simple little things. Now at least I can fill, and I can hold the jug with 2 hands and back it off, and it doesn't flip. And just all these little things. It's like crazy how we used to deal with all this. And there's a lot of guys that still deal with it. They're like, why do you have such a problem filling your gas tank? I can fill my gas tank without a problem. Well, pretty sure they've probably dropped their cap in the dirt recently and had to pick it up and blow it off, but yeah, so that was pretty dope. So got this one licensed where I get a percentage of the cut per quarter, and this one it's per piece. And then of course, because there's an advantage, and this can't be used on all bikes, they make one that see how pretty it is when somebody else does all the artwork and super professional. But this one's made for all the other gas tanks that the fuel shutoff doesn't work in. So it's dope. A license. A license can be smart. Nothing wrong with the license. Don't be afraid of licensing. Find something you can build on your own. If you're not a creative or handy guy, you might have to pay somebody else to do this stuff for you. Keep in mind that's pretty expensive. So hopefully you're handy. You're gonna have a hard time saving money unless you're handy or know somebody who is. So it still kind of makes me happy. They'd look at me like, what the heck is that guy got? Yeah, I used to fill my bike up with this. Yep. Once or twice at least. So, a recap. Prove it out. Get a prototype that someone can touch. Don't spend a lot of money on that prototype. Be willing to extend yourself and trust someone. If you really feel like you need to, do a non-disclosure. And be willing to take the cut that they offer. If you're a penny pincher, greedy little sucker, you're gonna have a hard time, I think, in this business. Because if you're getting into business with somebody that's super greedy and all they see is green, they're not looking at how their idea is going to actually change and benefit people. It's just, I can make a lot of money with this. Sometimes that's not going to work. It's not going to fly. They've kind of got their eye on the wrong prize. I would run away from relationships where all they see is green. If they're cool, good old boys, run with it. Give it a chance. Let your idea have a chance to have some legs, to have someone bring it to market so that you can learn from the experience and hopefully be benefited so that your next idea, your next round is actually better, and maybe you'll start producing your own products at some point, at whatever point that might be, or when it might happen. Maybe you never do. Maybe you always license it and I have 10, 20 licenses of reoccurring income. I have people now that online I can upload a YouTube video of me doing something new with a new concept and say, what do you think? And they can say, send me a prototype, and I can do that. And in a matter of a week, I can have it in their hands and they can play with it. So, you know, if you're not a one-stop shop, licensing and relationships and networks is going to pay you back really well, because you're going to save on funds. I mean, everybody has a limited amount of funds. If you don't have, you know, if you have tons of funds, you're probably not watching this anyway, but limited amount of funds, you can't burn those up on one project when you want to do 5 different projects. I get a licensing agreement or a non-disclosure from somebody. I do read through it myself, but I'm not going to pay a lawyer to go do it. If somebody wanted to screw me over, I guess they get a half at it, because maybe some of that trust level is that it's not my only idea, that there's other stuff I'm working on, and without their help, I know it's never going to get to market, because I'll probably never push the envelope on every idea. So I have to be willing to accept that little buffer of it never gets to market ever, or it does and they give me a chunk, and we have a relationship that I can bring my ideas back to them, so it pays them off to be cool and to you know, not have karma come around and bite them in the butt. So I'm willing to make those deals and extend myself in that way. Whether you should do or don't, that's your call. You need to think about that, because legally, if you don't have paperwork, it's really hard to come after somebody, and it's really expensive and stupid. And if you feel like that's your one shot, you know, your one hit wonder, because you've got no other ideas that are of any value whatsoever, maybe you shouldn't. The first one, sure, they had me sign something. The next one, I don't think they did. The third one did have me sign something. Fourth one, nothing. You know, it was all just through email. Hey man, what do you think? That'd be cool. Oh, you get it. You know, here's some videos. I'll send you some 3D printed prototypes. And we're in business, you know. Super cool guy. I like Risk Racing and what they do over there. I'll be giving away some more of their cool stuff. Like I say, Alex, you better reach out to me. I gotta make sure, you're one, that I can contact you. Number two, whether you want A or B for February's contest, because we're giving away that jug and the fuel spout of your choice. So I'm not sure how long I'll have to wait, 1 or 2 days max. We'll let you know. But next month, it's gonna be long sleeve shirts. I'll do a video later this week of the ones I make, and you'll be able to choose the color and the print color. It'll be pretty dope. Click up here for the last business episode. Click over here for a dope video. Leave your comments. Make sure to subscribe.